What's up, guys? It's Squad Father. I just want to say thank you for all the support that everybody's given me with the podcast throughout the years. It means the world to me, and you guys give me a purpose every single day I wake up. So thank you so much. That being said, this episode is very special to me and my community. I'm so blessed to have teamed up with Duke Seward and the Virtuoso Foundation and to sponsor Duke's Blues Barbecue Fest. This weekend we'll be hanging out in Carpenter Park in Carpentersville, Illinois, enjoying some great live music and great food. It's free entry, no charge, because everyone deserves the taste of love. If you would like to support the cause, the dates are this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June 7th to the 9th. I'll definitely make sure to leave a link in the description below for more information on Duke Blues Barbecue Fest. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode. Thanks, guys.
Oh, it smells delicious already in lunch break. We are checking out a barbecue restaurant in East Dundee. Duke's Blues and Barbecue Restaurant is serving up recipes passed down through generations. Chef Duke Seward joins us with his family's favorite pork loin ribs. I can smell them already out here. It smells good.
Oh, well.
All right, this is Mississippi recipes, right?
Yeah. So everything is Mississippi recipe. So we're originally from Greenville, Mississippi.
Okay.
Queen of the Delta. And these recipes, they were passed down from my mother and father. My mother's Marilyn Seward, and my father's Tansy. And I just pretty much kind of took it over the years and added a little bit of myself into it. And then, and we started up a restaurant, Duke's Blues.
I can't rap to this.
Yeah, you can rap.
All right.
Let's do this.
All right.
Yeah, me and Max, we getting paid every day. That's what we say. Let him hate. Hold on. Hey. Me and Max, we getting paid every day. We getting paid.
How's your thing, man?
Let him hate.
What's up, man? My name is Duke. I'm the owner of all the Duke's Blues and Barbecues and Taste of Love, and non-for-profit. And I'm just here with my boy, Max. Hey, sorry I've been a little late, man. I had to deliver some food. Good.
Life
Life
to the max,
to the back.
just like my podcast. Alright, we're back with another episode of Life to the Max. I'm here with Duke Seward. Duke, say hello to the crowd.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
So Duke, you're very well known around the Elgin area, from what I've been told, because your barbecue just smacks. Your barbecue food is amazing. It's delicious.
Thanks, Max.
And I was wondering, what's the name of your restaurant?
Duke's Blues and BBQ and Duke's Catering.
So you do both?
Yeah. So we started when I was in the city. We started as a catering company, and then from there we pretty much, when I came back out this way, we started doing like some farmers markets and things of that nature. I grew up out this way. We're originally from Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi.
I was gonna ask that,
yeah. But we started in Chicago as catering, and then we brought Duke's out here.
That's awesome. So is this like a family-owned restaurant?
Yeah. So like, it is. So everything is family-owned, family recipes that I've learned over the years from like my mother and father. My dad, he taught me how to grill. Him and my Uncle Nip, God bless his soul. My Uncle Nip, he was a veteran. He passed away.
Thank you for service.
Indeed. He was a good dude. But my father, I used to spend a lot of time with him because when I was a kid, a lot of my friends used to come over because my dad would grill every weekend. So he was like, let me teach you the way we barbecue down south. So it's always kind of been something that's there. But I just took it up when I was living in Chicago.
I mean, I get to tell, man, like, you have Southern hospitality every time you walk into my house. You've only walked in like twice from when I've seen, but like, when I met you, I needed a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
it did.
and I was like, I don't want my family cooking turkey. I'm done with that. I'm done. I was like, Mom, find someone who makes turkey, and she found you. Dude.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your turkey is amazing. Amazing. And I think I've had your turkey for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And so is that like your family's recipe as well?
Yeah, so actually the turkey recipe is my father's and myself, we actually put that recipe together because when I grew up, it was like we grew up a very traditional with like holidays, you know what I mean? Like instead of like it was a couple of things that's kind of been a little bit different. Like we call it dressing, stuffing. It's like cornbread dressing, but it's but it's like equivalent to like stuffing. You know what I mean? But it's just a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But similar concepts. But my mom, she always used to bake the turkeys in the oven. And the issue with I never really understood a baked turkey in the oven because it always comes out dry. And it's kind of like it gives you cotton mouth. I feel like no meat should give you cotton mouth after you eat it. You know what I mean? So my dad and I, we started playing around with it when, I don't know, probably about 15 years ago, we started smoking turkeys, And then I was like, it's still moist, you know what I mean? And like juicy.
Yeah.
And it still has like good flavor, like all the way down to all the meat.
Delicious.
Yeah. Most Thanksgivings turkeys are all dry, but when I had Thanksgiving last year with Max and that turkey, it was surprisingly and it was very substantial. And,
I appreciate that.
Definitely next year we're all going to tune in to Duke Kaboom and get that turkey.
Indeed, I appreciate that. It's awfully kind of you.
So delicious. Yeah.
Shout out to you and your dad figuring that recipe out.
Indeed.
It's amazing. So you're a super popular guy around here, right? Like, and I was wondering when it comes to being a restaurateur, like, is it a small community if you are a good restaurateur?
You said, is it like a small like
Is it like a niche community? Like when you're a restaurateur, when you're because you're a successful restaurateur, and you were talking about Cafe Roma, which
I got you.
Yeah, like it's a small
yeah.
community.
As far as the community goes, I think it's one of those things. I think it's kind of like a respect thing. I think after you kind of been doing it for a little bit, I'm like the new kid on the block because I'm like the youngest one. So like it wasn't always.
How young are you?
I'm 38, but I mean compared to the guys, it's kind of been doing it for a long time. You know what I mean? Like shout out to my boy Bob Karras. He owns all the Squires and the rookies and all that stuff too. But him and I we talked not too long ago, but. It's like one of those things too, like, since I'm like the new kid on the block, it's kind of like, for me, it means a lot for like, people who have been doing it for like 30 plus years to have like a lot of respect for me, you know what I mean? And kind of like what we're doing. And also just, I enjoy people watching us kind of grow from like ground up, you know what I mean?
I could tell. I could definitely tell every time like you talk, it's like about giving back to the community, which is amazing. Like that's all I keep hearing is giving back to the community. Like you just came from a teacher committee or something.
Yeah. So like, it was like a teacher's appreciation day. So we had a few schools or whatnot, but we did today alone, we did about 500 teachers. Because.
And what do you do?
Oh, they order different things. Like we did a lot of brisket today. Probably did about like 13 briskets, about like 120 pounds of pork, and about 100 pounds of chicken, and about 75 pounds of rib tips, and and then we had sides and stuff too.
What started your fascination with cooking as an adult? What made you make that turning point to turning it into something as a lifestyle?
I think life, man. I think, like I said, I was telling Max, I was an artist, I've always had a strong love for art, I think pretty much when I was living in Chicago, I I was kind of going through like a career change, somewhat I kind of call it. You know, trying to figure it out. I don't want to call it a midlife crisis because I was in my 20s.
We all hit those crossroads sometimes, you know.
But it was, but I had to kind of, I was trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. I've always been curious in it, you know what I mean? Like once I stopped doing art as heavily and then started writing like poetry, I was looking for something because I'm big on energy and I'm big on how things make me feel and how I project things to make other people feel. So I was kind of always looking for that feeling again. Mm-hmm. And then once I got into, started trying to kind of playing around with some cooking. My boys are coming out into my house. Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to my boy, Shy Hunter, Little Black Chef down in Greystone Tavern. So he did Taste of Chicago in 2013, and that guy gave me confidence. He's one of my dear friends. And
that was your original inspiration?
No, my mom and dad were.
His inspiration was his family.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm saying that was like the first.
Nah, that was just a guy that was like, man, this is good. And then coming from somebody who cooks for a living.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think we all kind of have that thing, like, I think everything's good at the house when it's free and all of your boys are eating it. But then it means it's something different when somebody's like, man, this is really good. And this is what they do for a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you said you were an artist before, but when you made that transition to culinary, you could also say that's an art form too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still an artist.
Some would say that, but some would say, like, when you get into culinary, then they start using that big C word, like, person's a chef, man. Like, no, I'm not a chef, man. I just appreciate the beauty of cooking.
You're a barbecue master.
Yeah, but it's not even barbecue. Like, I love making steaks. I just love cooking. Like, if my wife was standing next to me, she would say, I cook like every night at the house, but I make everything from scratch. Like I make like enchiladas, I make, pasta from scratch. I make like, chicken Alfredo, like stuffed shells, a lot of steaks, pork chops. I just like to eat.
So you got into it. It sounds like you're saying you simply got into it just because you love to do it.
Yeah.
So what also made you inspired to take the route of making everything nonprofit and just giving back to the community? And I know you said you were big on energy.
Yeah. That was kind of the way I was kind of, I was brought up that way, to be honest with you. My mother and father, I think everything kind of starts with the parents, and I watched them do it so much as a kid. We didn't have much really growing up, but I would always watch them. If somebody needed something, they'll try like their best as long as it wasn't affecting like the well-being of their children in the household. And they'll try to help them. Like, my mom and dad used to, when we first moved up here, we didn't have a car right away, you know what I mean? So my mom and dad, like, they used to ride their bicycles to work, and then they ride their bicycles to the grocery store for like 2 months until we was able to get a car. And I just remember how happy my mom was when we first got our first car up here in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And
things.
You know what I mean? And I just always remember, she was just so happy, and it was just like whenever she can help somebody, if it was like giving somebody a ride, giving a neighbor a ride, or you know what I mean, or taking somebody up the street to like the laundromat, she would do that, and I would just watch that people get so happy, and I was like, because my mom would always let me know that, like, she would always remind me that we all need each other, as a kid, and I think that's kind of transpired into me as an adult, you know what I mean? So it's not really like, it's just what I do, just the way I was brought up, you know what I mean? Like, even if I wasn't doing this, I've always been given,
Oh, yeah.
It's just now like on a bigger scale, I suppose.
Sounds like you had a strong family. I admire that.
Day to day.
Is the hospitality different here than it would be down south?
Yes and no. I think that
Depends on the person, probably.
yeah, I think it depends on a couple of different factors. Like, the one thing I really enjoy about the South is that everybody waves to you. You know what I mean?
At the South?
Yeah, like in the South, everybody waves to you. They don't even know you, man. Like,
howdy, partner.
No. You talking some Wild Wild West. You talking some
feller?
I'm sorry, Max got me playing Red Dead off the clock, so
You talking about? He said, howdy, partner. No, man, it's more so like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like walking down the street or just riding your bike or just sitting on the porch, like people driving past, they'll wave to you, people make eye contact down south, or they make more eye contact. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest difference I've noticed as far as like the hospitality up here and down south is that and more so that it's like the eye contact and acknowledgement of a person if they're coming across their presence. But as far as like hospitality as a whole, like I've always been brought up, even up here from like all of my guys, like parents, that's like their parents like my parents, because that's the way we all grew up in the community. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I go to my buddy's house and their mama have a hot plate for me at the house if I was coming over. You know, I didn't have to get invited. They just said, just Duke around, here's get a hot plate, you know, type of deal, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like my mother and my father, like my partners were at my house, and, you know, my buddies, you know, came over for whatever to play video games or just hang out. They would make sure everybody ate. You know what I mean? And that's like, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's the kind of way that was always around me, you know, and I think that really taught me a lot. Like my mom would always, if my mom had a plate of, if it could be 10 people in the house and it could be 2 pork chops, you know what I mean?
Splitting it up.
Everybody getting a piece of pork chop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, and that's just the way I was, you know, that's just the way I was raised and brought up, you know, and that's just the way I try to continue to be.
That's awesome. What you mentioned before, and on that note of just, you know, constantly with the acts of service and helping people out and just having that hospitality, like Max mentioned, would you say that there's more within the community of acts of service in the South or here or equal, or just off your experience, what would you say?
Well,
I know you're not trying to like throw shade like on like, you know, the North or whatever. You know, we're just wondering. We're just wondering because like when did you come up here? Like, did you was your family?
I was little. Yeah, like
okay.
yeah, like I spent majority of my, like pretty much all of my life up here in Illinois. You know, yeah. So we always went back home, though. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, you know, I think a lot of times people, whenever they leave the place that their family's from and that they're from, they typically always go back only for like funerals or sad stuff, or like funerals or weddings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we always went back home. You know, like my buddies growing up, they'll be going to Disney and and going to California for vacation and all these fun places, and they were like, "Duke, where you going?" And I would say, you know, going back to Mississippi. You know what I mean? Yeah, but you know, but I have more appreciation for it now as an adult than I did as a kid, because you know, Mississippi's fun. You know, I mean, it was fun for me, always going back because I got a lot of family down there. But it's to answer your question, which one had more hospitality up here or down? I would say from where I sit in like in my life, I would say it's about equal.
Really?
But I think that's just because of the people that have always been around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good vibes.
You know what I'm
Always
saying?
with
So it's
good
kind of
people.
like, I don't know if that's really like an accurate assessment for like.
No, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
Because
it
you
does.
attract people who kind of represent you, your product, your environment. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
So if you're always giving and always doing stuff for the community, then you're going to become surrounded by people who have the similar mindset.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Sorry, Eric. Do you know what is amazing about food? It brings people together.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
I
It
do,
really
I
does.
do.
And what were you about to say?
No, I was saying, I agree. I always, it's funny you say that. I always used to tell folks that I think the 2 common things we all share as human beings is we all got to eat something, and we all snap our fingers to a tune. You know what I mean? So, and I think once you understand that common area that we all kind of live in, you can work everything else out. You know what I'm saying? Because like I tell folks all the time, like people they'll crack jokes and they'll say, Duke, like, why do you have a vegan option or something like that? And I say, well, vegans eat too. You know what I mean? And my brother's a vegan. My niece is a vegan. His wife is a vegan. You know what I'm saying? So I like to, when I'm cooking, even when they come to my house for the holidays, I want to make sure that they're happy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the same thing with like music. You know, I think that
I was just about to bring that up. Music.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think like, you know, we all listen or tap our fingers or or tap our feet to something, you know, whether it's gospel, whether it's country music, whether it's blues, whether it's rock, whether it's like hip hop or R&B, you know. And I always try to say that everybody tells the same story, it's just through different eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, blues is supposed to be like more of a sad sound, right? Like a little bit, like I'm in my blues. Like that's why they started blues. So what made you say Duke's Blues Barbecue? Like what made you do that? Is it because you love blues?
Good question.
Yeah, that's both. Because I'm from Greenville, Mississippi, the queen of the Delta, where the blues started on Nelson Street. Yeah, so blues is so blues has always been heavy in my family. You know, like all the guys used to kind of come down there and play. So like they used to have juke joints. Juke joints is equivalent to what speakeasies would have been up here. And my daddy would always tell me stories as a kid. You know what I mean? He would be like, you know, when he'll be on Nelson Street, him and his little brother, my Uncle Jerry, or just a few of his partners or whatnot, he'll say like everybody be pulling up, like, you know, you got like Buddy Guy, a bunch of baseball players at the time, and everybody had Cadillacs. Yeah, and everybody had Cadillacs. But that's the thing though too, it was the South, right? So you had like, you know, you had all these folks at the time, because I mean obviously it was during a time when the world wasn't
Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody wasn't really kind of
what you're talking about.
You know, everybody wasn't together, but it was always cool because my dad would tell us stories, and he would always say like a juke joint is kind of like, you know, it's always like a house with like a hardwood floor, you know what I mean, and like you go in there for a good time and you drink a little bit, you know, you get a couple nips on something and
listen to blues.
Yeah, listen to blues music, like live blues musicians, man, and you just hang out, man. You know what I mean?
That's that's a really sweet story. Like, not sweet story. It's awesome that your dad was able to experience that and shed light on the positivity during the circumstances of the Civil Rights Act. But I mean, now I'm not gonna say it's like better or worse, but I do think that.
Progress has been made, I would say. You know what I mean? I think that we made progress, man. To be honest, I mean, I think we still got some work to do as a whole, as a people.
Always do.
But the job's not done. But I definitely think that there's some progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So you are. I was wondering. So you're like kind of. You're basically a businessman. Like you have like your food, and you have your food restaurants and your catering and everything. Yep. So what brought you to that success? Like when you were a kid, like when did you like say like I'm going to be successful barbecue master, basically, because that's what you are.
I never really did. I never really had an age for that or whatnot. To be honest with you, I'm still trying to figure it out, man. But I think that's the beauty of life, though. I think that, like I always try to tell folks, man, like the moment I'm not curious, the moment I become bored, I stop doing it. You know what I mean? And right now, like that's the one thing I always encourage, even the kids when I speak to the kids at the high schools that I speak to, is stay curious, man. Always stay curious, stay open-minded. And always be open to learning, you know what I mean? It's like, because I think sometimes generational gaps, and I think sometimes where like the ball gets dropped, I think sometimes when we get to a certain age, we're like, well, a 14-year-old kid or a 13-year-old kid can't teach me nothing. Like you can learn from a 5-year-old kid if you listen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that with that mindset, I'm always open. You know what I'm saying? Like I have conversations with my daughter who's 4. She's going to turn 5 on June 8th. Her name is Addie Rose Laverne. And then little Duke is going to turn 1 on May 25th. And then
I heard he just walked.
Indeed. So I'm looking forward to the conversations I get to have with him. But the conversation I have with her is always, because I think sometimes, like we were talking about how we all look at the world through different lenses, right? And right now, the world to her is really colorful. And the world, to me, may not be as colorful because we're at different points in our life. So sometimes you got to be reminded of that color. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Just like your shirt, man.
Yeah, man.
The beauty about like when I bond with kids, like I've always found myself naturally like just having fun with the kids. And a lot of people, a lot of adults, a lot of parents, I'm not going to tell you how to parent because that's the quickest way to get into an argument, but you know, we get so caught up in like trying to give them direction, do things this way, do things this way. But when you with the adolescent kids, like especially the ones that aren't even comprehending the shit you're directing them to do, like you just need to find a way to get to their level and step into their world. And you know what? All of a sudden things are brighter when you're like just in their world for a little bit and they're enjoying an adult that's like, dude, you're actually cool as hell. You know, like a 5-year-old would be like, dude, he's treating me like he's, you know. And I definitely have a blast with some cool kids. But then there's some brats I'll fucking throw off the corner of the table.
It's always gonna be some brats in the batch, man. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be some brats.
Nah, it sounds like you've been super family oriented. There was a quote that popped in my head earlier when you were talking about the acts of service that your mom was doing after she got her car. They say if you want to make someone happy for a week, go buy a watch. If you want to be happy for a month, buy a car. If you want to be happy for a year, go buy a house. But if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make a difference in someone else's.
Big facts.
And I'm not going to lie, when I met Max and he asked me to be his assistant, that was the strongest quote in my head. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to make a difference in this motherfucker.
And that's what's up, man. And that's what it's about, too. Like, you know, my wife and I, you know, that's we both share the same energy, man. And we both feel that same way, you know, the same way, you know, what you just kind of spoke on. You know, we're always trying to help people, man. Like, we've been best friends since we were 14. Her name's Rhiannon, kind of like the Fleetwood Mac song, you know what I mean? But it makes it easier for me to have a partner like that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like she gives just like I give, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, even with the way that her brain's structured, because she's kind of sometimes, she's so focused on the end goals. Because, I mean, she's really smart, beautiful, and just really determined. You know, and sometimes she has to stop herself because she'll get tunnel vision if she's doing something, but she'll stop no matter what. It could be the biggest thing that she has going on in her life. You know, I would watch it since we were kids, and she'll stop to help somebody else out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll put herself second to somebody else's needs if she sees that person needs something, you know? And I think that's kind of like, and she's also helped me kind of to make sure I don't lose sight of that too, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
you say you're that way because you've seen your mom and dad being that way.
Yeah.
You're super humble, man. Honestly, like super humble. And it's crazy that you're super humble because you're also super popular around here. You are. I mean, you're about to be on WGN News, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to be on WGN on the 27th on May. Once we get back from Punta Cana, we're going to Punta Cana for my mother's birthday.
Yeah, I took my mom there, too, for her 40th birthday.
Man, I've never been to Punta Cana. What is it like?
Oh, it's nice. They sell so much stuff. That's how they make money. That's their hustle, right? I ain't knocking them.
Cigars.
But, bro, cigars, whether it's little bracelets the kids make or flowers the kids just plucked or other dudes hustling fake cigars that they rolled up with trash and gravel. Bro, look, I respect the hustle, bro. But when I'm sitting there on the beach with my eyes closed, tanning in the sun, and then I get a tap like, hey, you want to buy this? Bro, get away, bro. It got to the point where it's no thank you. It went no thank you for the first day, and hey, no thank you for the second day. Hey, nah, man, nah. The third day and then the fourth day was like, bro, go. No.
Let's go somewhere.
You know, it was so bad. I don't know why it triggered me so much, but I had a bad dream about it where I was like shouldering, like walking through a crowd of people trying to sell me shit, and I'm just fucking getting through Dominican Republic trying to, dude, yeah. So be prepared to reject or bring a bunch of singles and pay for things.
If I got it and I can give it away, man, you know, always.
Hey, good answer.
You know what I'm saying?
You are a giving guy. I mean, like, there's going to be a lot of giving.
Max, I ain't giving that much, man, you know. That's one thing the wife does, man. She does a phenomenal job budgeting. So she's like, hey, we got this amount of money
this percentage to give.
To give.
That's awesome.
Whenever we take trips, you know what I mean? Because you're 100% correct, you know what I mean? Like, we've been in different islands together. And I don't like to stand on a resort. I like to get out and be with the people, you know what I'm saying? no matter where I go in the world, I want to be with the people. You know, so if the people are over here, I want to go check them out. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what it's like to live a day in their life. You know what I mean? Because that also helps me to continue to grow my vision. You know.
Have you ever done any like mission trips or anything like that?
I like to consider my life a mission trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned a vision.
Nice. Yeah.
But what is your vision?
Oh man, I got a few.
So when you travel and you're trying to
Yeah, man.
grow that vision,
I do. I think a lot, and sometimes, like we talked about perspectives, right? You know, I can go somewhere and be around with somebody that may not have anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it might be a bum on the street, you know. But I'll sit down and have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that kind of helps, like, oh, like they ding, kind of clicking, like, oh, that makes sense. You know, I like to look at it just being as God's work. You know, I'm on God's time, so I might as well look at God's work.
It's easy for every individual to get those blinders on, especially when they're hustling, especially all those entrepreneurs, especially the people that are never satisfied when they're building their empire. You know, or especially the people that get caught up in the 9-to-5 for 20 years until they retire that they never were happy with.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get those blinders on and just think that your life is the only problem, you know, or this problem is the only problem until, you know, you hear someone else's story and you realize that there's so many different lanes in life that having those blinders on is almost self-destruction. Like you need to keep your eyes open and you need to realize that there's so many different angles to this life and life is very, very complicated and there's so many ways
Precious
you can
too.
It is.
to find those little things and find that happiness and find things that are bigger than your current situation.
Facts.
And it doesn't take money to find that.
Nah.
I mean, like, I don't mean to, like, hijack your interview, but look at me, man. Like, you know, my life was taken. Not my life, but, like, a big part of my life was taken when I was in the military, just doing what I had to do. You know, I wasn't, like, running the streets. I wasn't doing anything bad. But you know, things happen. And you just gotta find an outlet to, you know, like, give back, like you were talking about, give back. What I try to do is give back with the podcast. I'm not that great of an interviewer, but, you know, like, it's...
Nice, I think you're doing a phenomenal job, big boy.
It's, you know, it's tough, but I want to get better and better at it, you know, and the big thing is giving back to the community, letting them know, like, we can go down the rabbit hole. We could talk about, you know, the 1960s, and we could talk about the present, and we could talk about what your perfect world you want, and I want that perfect world too, man. Like, and hopefully it's like the same thing, because my thing is giving back with my voice. That's all I got right now, man. That's it. I can't move. You know, like I had to learn this life when I was 20 years old, man.
Yeah.
20 years old, man. I had to learn all these new things, like things I never even thought of, you know. And I'm grateful to talk to people like you. To your philanthropy is like incredible, man. It really is. And
Thank you.
yeah, and like to, like, you know, go back to that, like, you know, it's all about finding an outlet, finding something that makes you happy. Like, and I think your mom played a huge role in your philanthropy just by the car, because she was giving. She worked her tail off to get that car right, riding her bike and stuff. People don't know about that.
It was my mom and dad, both of them, man. Both of them taught me the way, man. They did it together. They also showed me what like a strong couple kind of looks like. So I always kind of, always wanted to kind of find a mate that kind of embodied what I saw in my parents, and that's what I found in my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let's not be grim anymore. You got a fest coming up called Duke's Blues Fest.
Indeed.
Talk about that.
Hold on, I had a question earlier. We're gonna get right into that,
Yeah.
but I was gonna ask you about your parents. You say that you do these generous things because you've seen your mom and dad doing it.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to believe that every single time you do something nice for someone, you're only doing it because your mom and dad did those things.
No.
You grow up.
I'm leading up to the question. So I wanted to ask you, you know, like, what do you feel when you do something nice for someone, or like what kind of drive does it give you, or like, you know, like what's some emotions that go through your head just inside that usually people don't?
The emotions that go through me, I mean, love, man. You know what I'm saying? Like love. I think that's something I think we're lacking in the world, man, is love. I think that sometimes when you do something, man, like, you don't got to know the person. And, you know, I had a few of my partners, man, growing up, and they used to kind of, you know, bust my balls and give me a hard time. They're like, oh, man, there goes Duke giving $1 to the guy on the home, or like giving $1 to the bum on the street, or giving this to him. And they were like, man, you know they was going to do this or do that with it. And I was like, man, I don't care, man. That's between them and God. All I know is, you know, when I shook the person's hand or said, hello, how you doing, or whatnot, or gave him a cheeseburger or whatever the situation may have been, we shared a moment in that moment, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes I tell folks, man, like, you never know what a person's going through in life, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes a person can be on their last string, man, and then just by smiling at somebody or shaking a person's hand,
or sharing a story,
man,
Give
some food, man, or sharing a cold drink, man, with somebody, man. It really can. It may seem so little to some people, but stuff like that never seems little to me. And when a person gives me something, it could be a bottle of water, man. I'm thankful.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I'm thankful, man. I don't take nothing for granted. You know what I'm saying? I think I just try to remind myself of that too, and I try to pass it on to people that surround me. Like, you know, you gotta love, love hard and love strong, man. And I'm not saying everything in life gonna be peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying? But you just gotta keep pushing forward for that love, man. You know what I mean?
Second question on this note. You know, you provide all these acts of service. It's naturally in you.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when people provide those acts of services for you?
It's cool, man. Like, I really, it's one of those things sometimes I'm taken back. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I remember, man, like, my wife and I, it's probably about 10 years ago. We wanted to provide Thanksgiving dinners to 20 families, right? I said, I'm going to feed 20 families. And I told people, I said, man, I put it on Facebook. I said, I don't care where you're at, you know what I mean? You send me some families that are in need, and I'm going to get them a turkey, a ham, some full pans of food, and y'all going to have a Thanksgiving the way you should have a Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we did that for Christmas too. But that year, man, we went to West Aurora, and it was a Hispanic family, man. It was probably about I think the husband and wife, man, they didn't really speak too much. Their English wasn't that well, but it was kind of like broken and whatnot. But they real nice people, man. And they had 7 kids. And I remember we just showed up to their house because they had a 3-bedroom house, it was a ranch house, you know, in Aurora. And all the kids gave me a handmade card, said, "Thank you, Mr. Chef." You know what I mean? And I still got the cards, man. I was taken back from that, you know what I mean? Like, that just kind of, it made me feel like it's a reminder that, hey, we're all small, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, it's kind of like that meant so much to them, and it meant so much to me to be with them in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really cool, you know? And I think that, like, stuff like that keeps me going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Love is free, fellas. You hear all this?
Love always wins.
You hear all this acts of services don't cost a thing.
Love always wins.
All it takes is time and love.
Big facts.
And that return, that gratification you feel inside your soul, it's priceless.
No
All right,
doubt about
let's
it.
get to the fest, Max. Let's get to the fest.
The
It's
main
so fun.
event.
We got a photographer in the back. Tiger Woods, fellas.
Tiger, what's up, man?
This is my boy Justin.
Hey, Justin, nice to meet you, boss.
We gonna keep the interview rolling and we'll get acquainted. We got 20 more minutes of the podcast, Justin. Thank you for coming. But yeah, let's get into the
main
fest.
event, man. The main event. It's the Duke's Blues Fest. So
Yeah, so the Duke's Blues and Barbecue Fest. That's also presented by our nonprofit. We have a nonprofit in which my wife and I started because we wanted to give back to the community. And then people were like, man, you know, like all these acts you guys do, you can start a nonprofit for that, and then people can donate money to you, you know, and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that sounds phenomenal. So we started that a few years back, man. We give out scholarships through like our nonprofit. We provided, when COVID hit, we gave all of the restaurant workers in East and West and Dundee, some in Carpentersville, everybody got a check. Everybody that was in need got a check. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that was something we did through our nonprofit, which was hella cool. And then we started this Blues Fest. And it's free because, like, growing up as a kid, you know, like I was saying, like, we didn't have much, but I never missed anything. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom and dad, like, they bust their ass, man. Like, we never went without anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never missed a
Didn't
meal.
have much, but we never missed anything.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And, but I remember that feeling, like, you know, cause we used to go down to the Taste of Chicago when I was a kid. And just going back and forth to Chicago and out to the flea market and stuff. And I remember my dad only had X amount of money, you know, so sometimes he had to make that tight call. Like, man, if I really want to go to this festival, but, man, if it costs $5, $10 a person to get in there, man, that's meal money, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we can't go this year or something like that, and which that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I also think that really it really would have been a good experience for him to take us to some of those other places, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But sometimes you got to make that call, like, man, do I pay for this admission, or do I buy them something to eat after we walk, you know, downtown Chicago for an hour or so? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And I remember that feeling. So growing up, I was like, man, you know what? And my wife used to have the same thing too. Her dad, he was a firefighter in Carpentersville. Everson, you know. He's part of my Fat Five, you know. I also give him credit too, you know. He helped me through my teenage years as far as, like, because he was a phenomenal artist, and I was an artist too. So we used to kind of connect. He kind of showed me some different avenues, you know, some things to kind of approach. But when we started the fest, I said, man, this is all free. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can decide to buy food if you want to, but as far as coming into the festival, come to the festival, man. There's no admissions or nothing.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because, like, if you come into the festival, I don't want you paying money to get into the entrance. I want you to pay money if your daughter wants if your daughter wants some cotton candy, or she wants a cheeseburger, or, you know, want a hot dog, or, you know, if daddy wants to get a cold beer, you know, a date night. I want y'all to spend your money on that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And with our nonprofit and with the sponsorships, you know, and once again, thanks to all my sponsors for the Dukes and Blues Fest. It's been a blessing, but that helps us to make sure that we have enough resources to kind of take care of everything else, take care of the musicians we got coming out, take care of my sound guy, take care of my security, taking care of everything, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love how you said that. Like, people aren't just, it's not just a fest anymore. This is something he created because when he was a kid, his dad sometimes couldn't get in from the admission fees.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he evolutionized, and he did it his own way.
Facts.
And he said, you know what? Everyone's getting in for free.
Everybody's coming
That's
in.
power.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
That shit, dude, I love that.
Thanks, man.
I would clap too, but I can't.
Come on, click with the clap. Click with the clap.
Nah, that's it. Nah, Max, I can dig it, man.
No, that's just wonderful, man. Honestly, like, and it all happened because of you witnessing it as a kid, and you're like, I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, you know, I think,
yeah.
And that's what it's about, you know. Change is good. You know what I'm saying? I think that I think we all struggle with change, but change is not always bad. You know what I'm saying? I think if I had to define change, I would say change is misunderstood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things change and then people don't agree with it, and some people do.
Yeah.
But that's life. I mean, that's how it's always going to be, unfortunately. But hopefully, like, you know, going forward, like, and all the people listening to this can understand that love always wins. And,
It does.
You know, giving back is, it feels more amazing than anything else. You know, that's that from this whole podcast. I mean, that's all I literally have like heard from you, man. It's just giving back, giving back, giving back your family, like giving back, you know, like, and then you like try to make changes so people can enjoy the things that, you know, like admission tickets and all this other stuff. And you're so humble, but you're so popular at the same time. Like I said, you have like a meeting, like an interview with WGN coming up, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that, you know, on the 27th. I think it's going to be exciting. You know what I'm saying? I think it's, you know, I think that's my first time on like live news. You know, I've been in the newspaper quite a bit. People have wrote up some nice articles about me, you know, and I'm thankful for those too, you know, but I think going on WGN is kind of cool because I like to hang around, you know, at dive bars with a few of the old timers, and everybody loves WGN. So it's like, you know, it's like
excited.
Hey, dude, you're gonna see me on the big screen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like how your story is basically based on, you know, you growing up and seeing you and your family just giving back, and life is rewarding you. Life is returning the favor for you.
Yeah. God is good, man. God is good.
So, and it's nice to hear, like what's rewarding to you is not a new car or a new house or new watch. You know, like Eric was saying, it's making a difference.
Yeah. And also, like, you know, something that, you know, I think people sometimes lose sight of, man. Like, life can be a lot sometimes, man, but it's a blessing to wake up and open your eyes up. You know what I mean? It's a blessing. You know, I think sometimes, like even with your situation, like, I really admire you, you know, because I think that sometimes, you know, a person could have just gave up, you know what I'm saying? Been in a situation, you know, like, because I remember for me, I used to be an athlete and things like that nature, and I was around different athletes, and I know for us, like, for somebody to get injured, you know, like, you know, you blow out your knee or your shoulder, you know what I mean, or you hurt your back, and that's a big, like, it brings you down because you're so used to having that, right? So it's taken away from you, right? And that puts a lot of people into a down spot. And then in your situation, you got into that bad accident that put you in this situation, and you're still striving and pushing forward and like giving back. And I really appreciate the sponsorship that you gave us to give back to like our nonprofit, you know, to help out with the Blues Fest. And like, like, honestly, man, I think that you have a heart of gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you're a real. I told your mom when I first met you, you're a good dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
you're a good dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and hopefully, you know, me giving back to you is going to give back to other people, and then other people are going to have some bellies full, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta feed the babies.
You gotta feed them. So,
You gotta feed the
they
babies.
answer the spot. So Duke Seward, Duke Seward. If you can look into which camera, if you can look into that camera and say you're living life to the max, and give a message to the people.
Indeed. Message to the people.
Not too much pressure.
Nah, that's all right, man. Be kind and stop sometime to say hello, greet a stranger, shake somebody's hand who you don't know, and just, no matter what, just keep spreading the love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And life to the max. To the max.
You've been living life to the max, buddy.
Indeed, I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
You're working on it. You've been.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, Duke's Blues and BBQ Fest. So as June 7th and 8th, we're still working on the 9th, but 7th and 8th for sure. It's going to be Friday, June 7th, and Saturday, June 8th. And the music lineup that we have is phenomenal. We have New Blue, Cherie Reed, Mama Bear from Madison Ward, and Mama Bear. We have Nick, Jimmy Nick, and we have so many more beautiful musicians, man. And I just love to listen to them play, man. I'm like a big kid when I see somebody playing instruments. I get all googly inside.
Nice. That's deep rooted.
That's day to day
in the blues.
From Mississippi.
From Mississippi, Queen of the Delta.
Queen of the Delta.
Yeah.
And you can catch me there because I'll be there for sure.
Yep.
Indeed.
Let's see. Quav Author's going to show up to Duke Blues BBQ Fest.
Yeah.
See what's rocking. Hopefully there's going to be some good barbecue because,
Hey, Max, I'm going to make the barbecue extra special for you, big boy.
I said extra salty for you, big boy.
Extra special. I'm going to make sure that the barbecue is to the max.
To the max.
No doubt.
Well, so for everybody listening, we'll leave the link in the description below of the Duke Blues BBQ Fest. And this has been Life to the Max podcast. I'm paralyzed from the neck down, breathing through a machine, but that doesn't stop me from following my dreams and doing what I love to do. I don't got any excuse, and neither should you.